Good morning, Knicks Nation. I hope you all are safe today and healthy. Happy Monday, if there is such a thing. I guess if we're alive and we're healthy, it's a good day. So happy Monday to all of you, and I hope you're all safe and well today. Today, I'd like to go over. Well, put it this way. Let me put it this way. I'm going to talk about Tyler Bay today, and the reason is I use Tankathon a lot, and I also use NBA and college hoops reference a lot because they have a lot of analytical data on there, on both of them. And I like that, basketballreference.com and tankathon.com. I'm not trying to promote these things, just telling you where I get my information from. And so I was looking at looking at Tyler Bay, and the reason I brought it up because Tankathon has updated their mock draft, and in this particular mock draft, and this is one of the things I like about Tankathon. They do update based on current information. So they have the Knicks taking Tyrese Halliburton at 8. They have the Knicks taking Tyler Bay at 27. And they have the Knicks taking Xavier Tillman at 38. Now, before we get into this, I am also today in this video wanting to discuss for Knicks Nation that we should, as Knicks Nation, have an understanding of who our coach is. Okay? Why do I say that? Well, we know his name. His name, right? Okay. Tom Thibodeau, right? So we know that's our coach, but who is Tom Thibodeau? What is his style? What is his record? And that gives you an indication of what you can expect. So, and I'm saying this because I'm feeling like there's going to be a lot of disappointed Knicks fans come draft night and comes opening night. And the reason you're going to be disappointed is because of your expectations of Tom Thibodeau instead of understanding who Tom Thibodeau is based on his record. Now, it's often said you can tell a lot by a person by what they do more than what they say. And look, David Fizdale, if you didn't learn that during his tenure, you should know it now. Keep what you kill was crap, right? Right. And obviously he was a smooth talker, and he got me. And so obviously he got Steve Mills and Perry to believe in him and Dolan. But he didn't know what he was doing, as far as a professional coach. Obviously he must have been a good assistant coach with Miami, because that's what caused me to take a look at him, but he didn't know what he was doing for the Knicks. He had no idea. It was almost like, and again, when Mike Miller became coach, it was like we had adult coaching finally. And that just goes to show you. So who is Tom Thibodeau? Well, I look back and I ask any of you, basketballreference.com. Okay. And you can look up Tom Thibodeau. And when you go to basketballreference.com, you look up Tom Thibodeau, what you will see is all of his coaching record, both as an assistant coach and as a professional head coach. And so but of course we're focusing on him as a head coach. Now, looking at that, you get an idea of what he looks for and what he does with his rotations. Okay. So he coached as a professional head coach starting the 2010-2011 season, and the last season was in Minnesota 2018-2019. All right. And he was fired 40 games into the 2018-2019 season. Now, if you look at his record in all of that time, which is 10 years of coaching, of head coaching, 8 years of head coaching experience, he has never started a rookie. In 8 years of head coaching experience, he has never started a rookie. He will start players that after their first, second, third year, but he has never started a rookie. So all of you thinking, for example, we can get Kyra Lewis, we can get Opie and Boy, they're going to run a great pick and roll. They're not going to play. They're not going to start. All right. And when he even plays rookies, when he plays a rookie, they got to be good defenders. You look at all of the years. Jimmy Butler was drafted, and in his rookie year, he played 8.5 minutes a game. Okay? The rookies that he had that played the most minutes under him were Chris Dunn and Josh Okogie. And he was the president when he started in Minnesota with Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn played 17 minutes a game. And then he got traded. And he traded Chris Dunn because he wanted to draft Josh Okogie in part. And then Josh Okogie got 22 minutes a game. Neither of them started, but they got 22 minutes. That was the most any rookie got in 8 seasons under Thibodeau. 22 minutes a game. Okay? And then the people that are the lottery picks, the max players and all that, he plays them heavy minutes when they're not rookies. Like Towns, Wiggins. They got 35, 38 minutes a game. He will play it. Okay. But he likes starting off with defenders. Okay. Now, we have heard that he's going to change some of his ways. And I keep telling you, an Ethiopian cannot change his skin, and a leopard cannot change his spots. So what changes can we expect? He's been criticized for running his players into the ground and causing injuries and cutting short careers. Okay? So, I don't expect him to run his in-season practices with the vigor he has done in the past. Because I don't see him changing his game scheme. But in order to preserve the players, especially on back-to-backs and such, I can see him being a little easier in practice. Because my understanding is he drills practice all season long, like hell practice. Okay? So I think he's going to probably ease up on that. And I'm thinking, he might start a rookie this year. He might. And I mean might. But one thing we all forget, or I don't forget, but some of y'all forget, Frank Ntilikina is in his 4th season. Dennis Smith Jr. is in his 4th season. Kevin Knox is going to be in his 3rd season, as will Mitchell Robinson. These guys are going to play a lot of minutes because he likes to play people that are veterans. And you know what? They're young, but they're all veterans. So, and I want you to also notice in the Tankathon, the 3 guys that they have us picking. Halliburton is a defender. He's a playmaker and a defender. See, everybody's looking at the term point guard. When you look at Halliburton, he's way more than a point guard. He's a basketball player, but he's a defender. Tyler Bay, he said it in his interview. I listened to his interview. His calling card, defense. Xavier Tillman, defense. You see, even though you got Walt Perrin, Leon Rose, and Scott Perry making the personnel decisions, don't ever think Tom Thibodeau doesn't have a say in what they're doing. The Knicks are going after defenders. Why do you think they're high on Okoro? He's a defender. Now we're going to talk about Okoro in another video, but because, he's on the possible list of being drafted by the Knicks. But you have to understand, he's not going to start a rookie. And especially, you guys keep talking about point guards. He ain't starting no rookie point guard. Now, he may go get a veteran, but I'm going to tell you, let's say he gets DJ Augustine. Okay? I don't think they're going to get CP3. That costs too much. And I've already told y'all that we already did a video. Some of y'all asking about a video on Westbrook. We did that long before this even started because we already knew in crazy season, they're going to start talking about every player coming to the Knicks that we really don't want or need. I don't even want to waste time talking about Westbrook or CP3 coming to the Knicks because it is a waste of time. We are rebuilding. We are establishing a new culture in New York. That means No trading draft picks. That means we don't trade players we need to develop. Unless said player is asking for a trade. And if you're Tom Thibodeau's team, you keep all your defenders. Unless you're going to trade for a better defender. Okay? So if he was to start or to acquire a DJ Augustine, Augustine is a veteran. He's not going to be playing no 38 minutes a game. He's not. What? Frank Ntilikina is going to play a lot of minutes. If Kevin Knox is on the team, being in his third year, he's going to play a lot of minutes. Mitchell Robinson too. Because these guys have been on the team. That's why I think he said, when they asked him about this, he said, Mitch and RJ, they're going to be very good futures in the league. But he says, as far as the rest of the team, I got to see what we have. He's going to see who he can put in there and run to death and who's going to defend. I'm very excited about that. I know you're worried about scoring. I'm not. You got to start somewhere. Okay. That doesn't mean you're finished with the building of the team or the development of the team. But we're starting our development now. We didn't do it 3 years ago and we should have. But we're starting it now. He's going to run these guys to death. And he's going to want defense. Now, when it becomes painfully obvious we need shooters, I think the Knicks are going to probably either some of these players like a Tyrese Halliburton as well as Tyler Bay are efficient shooters. And I think they're probably going to try to get that combination. That's why I also like Malachi Flynn, because he's an efficient shooter. Another thing, aside from mentioning Malachi Flynn, he was Defensive Player of the Year in his conference, San Diego State. Tyler Bay has been 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Pac-12. No coincidence. Okay? So let's talk about Tyler Bay. Tyler Bay is 6'7", with a 7'1" wingspan. Okay. He is 22 years old. And during the course of this coming season, he's going to be 23 years old. So he's an older guy as far as, this era of drafting. He is, as I mentioned, an elite defender. Now, the problem, on the problem side, which is, to me, was glaring, is Tyler Bay is used to playing near the basket. He's used to playing within 10 feet of the rim. And he's only 6'7". So that's not going to really fly in the NBA. Okay. He's got to play more on the perimeter. Now, he has shown in the videos I have seen that he can guard 1 through 4. Obviously, he was playing the 4 at Colorado. And so he was playing the 4 there. And so, he's obviously, he put the clamps on Obi Toppin, when he played him. So he can guard 4s. But a strong 4 or a strong 5 or a guy, like if he had to guard Julius Randle on the low block, he'd get eaten alive because he's not big enough. His frame is not muscular enough to keep his position there. But he can guard 1, 2, and 3s. In the NBA, he'll probably guard 2, 3s, and 4. He's going to have to be a wing. Okay. His wingspan is very, he uses that on the defensive end very well. He finishes very well. As I said, he's used to playing near the rim. The issue is he's going to have to learn to play a little farther out. I'm not saying he needs to learn how to take threes, although that would be good. He had a 42% three-point percentage this past season, but that's not indicative of his three-point potential, only because he didn't take a lot of them. He doesn't force a lot of bad shots, which is good. He doesn't force a lot of bad shots. And if you look at the year before that, he only shot like 24% from three. So he improved. And one of the reasons he improved is not only he basically, improved his mechanics, but he also took less threes. I'm looking at him, and his favorite player is Shawn Marion, and he plays a lot like Shawn Marion, but Shawn Marion was more like 6'9". This kid is 6'7". But I'm seeing in him another guy that's like Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark from Gonzaga that's played at Memphis. They've put him in there and he slotted and he plays Brandon Clark plays within himself. So does Tyler Bay. Brandon Clark plays above the rim. So does Tyler Bay. Brandon Clark's about 6'8", Bay's 6'7", so they're very close, but Clark played the 4 and Bay played the 4 in college. I think Clark still guards 4s at times, but I think Jaren Jackson Jr. does most of that when he's in the game, and Clark guards 3s, which is what's going to happen with Tyler Bay. He's going to guard 3s mostly and 2s. He can guard 1s if he gets switched on them. He's not lost on an island with a 1. If he gets a 1 out there, he can definitely hold his own and guard most 1s. Offensively, he's very fundamentally sound. I noticed that his coach is one of these, tough, hard behind coaches, man. Remind me of my old coach in high school. But in Bay's first year, he came from a prep school. And in his first year there, the coach benched him for 11 games and then started him after that. Something happened, because then all of a sudden he was averaging a double-double when he got in, and has never been out the starting lineup ever since. And then again, like I said, his second year in college, his sophomore year, he was Defensive Player of the Year. And this past year, technically his junior year, even though he was senior age, he was Defensive Player of the Year. His movement, his foot movement is beautiful on the defensive end. He can get frustrated. His passing needs a lot of work. He gets easily frustrated with a double team, and he will commit some really silly turnovers if he's aggressively double teamed, which obviously in the NBA that could happen. He will be a really good third option, on the offensive end, because if you get, RJ and you're clogging the lane with, trying to stop RJ, or if they get, Halliburton, or like I said, he may not play, or Frank has an improved jump shot, but I believe he will, and they get a 2, let's say they get Bogdanovich or somebody like a Harris, which I think they will, that can shoot, and you got to guard that guy because he can shoot it, and then you kind of stop RJ. Tyler Bay is a really good third option. He operates very well in that space. And third and fourth option, he'll be very well. He's also a very good player, like a Brandon Clark, that you don't need to call plays for. And he'll get his off of rebounds. He'll get it on the break. And he moves very well without the ball. But he does get frustrated pretty easily with double teams. And he will make bad passes out of a double team. He's not a very good passer. That's one of his negatives. Obviously, offensively, we got to see him come out a little bit. Like I said, he's got to come out from under the basket. He's not going to spend all his time under the basket in the NBA. He's going to need to come out. There's going to be a lot more spacing. If he played with a center that was a stretch 5, like the Joker, it would be very good for him, because if he can get space near the basket, and he's very effective near the basket. That 7-foot wingspan, he has excellent hops. Excellent athletic ability. When he jumps, his head is near the rim, but he doesn't need to jump that high because of the wingspan he has. He can flush that ball through, very easily. And his jump seems very quick because of that. And he uses it that way. And so I like Tyler Bay. I like Desmond Bane better, but in the Tankathon mock, they got Bane going 1 pick ahead of Bay. But I'd like to get Desmond Bane, but if we got Tyler Bay, and I looked at these 3 picks, if we ended up with Tyrese Halliburton, Tyler Bay, and Xavier Tillman, I wouldn't cry about that, because you got 3 defenders, you got a good playmaker, you got a solid fundamental guy, and the same with Xavier Tillman, which I haven't talked about. I'm going to examine him too, since he's on the radar as well. I'm looking at players that are on the Knicks radar in terms of they're either mocked to come to us, or the Knicks have interviewed them, or both. And, and we have a possibility of actually getting them without making any trades, just, from our 8, 27, and 38. Like guys like Precious Achiuwa, which we talked about, or guys like Patrick Williams. We really are only going to get those guys if we make a trade to acquire another pick. At 8, we're not going to get those guys. Nobody's going to pick a Precious or Patrick Williams at 8 or before. Okay. They're probably going from 10 on. All right. And then between 10 and, 20. Then, or Tyrell Terry. He's not going to be picked at 8. I know some of you guys are like, well, let's pick him at 8. No, you don't pick guys at 8 like that when they're not worth 8. Especially, okay, this is another thing. If you have the 8th pick And on your board, this is your order, right? And it's not my order, but I'm just saying this might be the Knicks order. LaMelo Ball, Denny Adiba, Obi Toppin, Tyrese Halliburton, Killian Hayes, and Devin Vassell. Let's say that's your board. Now, let's say when it gets to the 8th pick, you don't have to think about it. You got to look and see of your board who's still available. Okay, so LaMelo's gone, Denny's gone. Okay, Obi's gone. And so then you're looking at whoever, Vassell or Halliburton is still on your board and they're still available. So that's how you pick. You're not going to all of a sudden say, well, I'm going to focus on Patrick Williams. You have a board. And so, you have an order. If Patrick Williams is at the top of your board, then that's who you pick. But I'm quite sure he's not at the top of the Knicks board. Neither is Tyler Bay. Neither is Precious Achiuwa. Neither is Terrell Terry. They're not at the top of the Knicks board. Especially with Tom Thibodeau coaching, right? So you're looking for a wing that could probably play defense or guard that can play defense and has possibility of offensive. Again, play offense and defense, guard multiple positions, play multiple positions. That's what you're looking at. All right. Especially we focus on defense. Tom Thibodeau is our coach. We're looking at defense. And I know this is going to frustrate some of y'all. So like if we did draft the Kyra Lewis, he's not starting. He's not going to get a lot of minutes even. If we did draft, I'm trying to tell you, Thibodeau does not start rookies and he's not starting no rookie point guard. I believe he just doesn't have the patience for it. Cause it's a tough position to learn in the NBA. Okay. And a guy like a Jimmy Butler only got 8 minutes his first year. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, he's not having it. But by Jimmy Butler's third year, he was getting 38 minutes a game. Okay. He got 8 minutes his first year. I think he moved up to like 17 or 20 his second year. And then his third year, he was getting 38 minutes a game. That's how Thibodeau does it. All right. If you're there your second, third, fourth year, he's going to play you. I mean, if you're on the team and if you play defense, right? So you got to look at those things first. But Tyler Bay at 27 is a good possibility for us. He works. He can plug and play, come off the bench at the 3 spot or the 2 spot, or, in case of small ball, 4 spot, if you're going to run small ball, with a smaller center running aside from Mitch. So you can play him that way. He plays multiple positions. He guards multiple positions. Solid fundamentally. Got to work on his passing. He should obviously work on his 3-point shooting, because he's going to be getting that. And, And so I like Tyler Bay, at 27. So if Tankathon is correct, and I don't know that they were, they're just guessing also. But if we were to get Halliburton at 8, Tyler Bay at 27, Xavier Tillman at 38, that would be a pretty good draft. It's not a bad draft. I mean, like I said, I really like Malachi Flynn in this draft. He's growing on me more. I look at him, the more I like him. But if we don't get him, fine. I really like Desmond Bane. If we don't get him, okay, there's other players. This is that type of draft. So, and again, at 8, I think the Knicks board is what I mentioned. I think it's probably LaMelo Ball. It's probably, Denny Avdija, Obi, Okoro, Vassell. I think it's something like that. I think it's going to be, and Killian Hayes is probably in there also. Probably something like that, with your Halliburton, down there also. So that's probably who they're looking at in this particular mock draft that Tankathon has. They got Avdija going second to Golden State based on the information that came out saying they were wowed by Avdija. You don't follow this stuff like this because you don't know who's putting this stuff out. His agent probably put that out, but whatever. They got Edwards, Avdija, Wiseman, and Ball going top 4, which is probably going to happen, maybe not in that order. They got Cleveland taking Obi Toppin, and Cleveland is the wild card here. They could take Okoro. They could take Toppin. They can take Onyeka Okongwu. They're the wild card. I have no idea what they're going to do. I would think they would take Okoro to complement the 2 guards they have, and to complement Kevin Porter Jr. Because they got the older guys that are, they got Kevin Love. They're paying $1 gazillion to, They got Tristan Thompson, who still wants to retire a Cleveland Cavalier, and they got the guy from Detroit as well. So I don't know what they're going to do. Then they could pick Obi Toppin. I don't know where is he. I mean, they must be shipping out Kevin Love if they pick Obi Toppin, because you don't pick a guy like that at 5 not to play him. I don't know. And then so I thought they would take Isaac Okoro. Then they got Atlanta taking Killian Hayes. I don't know about that either. I can see why they might do that. Him to play next to our boy Trae Young, but I I would pick Onyeka if I'm Atlanta. I would pick Onyeka Okongwu or Tyrese Halliburton. That's who I would pick from Atlanta. Then they got Detroit taking Isaac Okoro, and that makes no sense to me. They need a point guard. They got Semboya at the small forward. I don't know why they would pick Isaac Okoro. They got a 2 guard, the kid from Duke that shoots pretty well. I would think they would take Killian Hayes. But the reason it doesn't bother me too much is because even though I don't see the players going to these teams the way they have them, I do see all of these players going in the first 7 picks. Like, I can see Cleveland taking Okoro. I can see Atlanta taking either Halliburton or Onyeka Okongwu. I can see Detroit taking Killian Hayes. I can see that. And so we would be left with Obi or Vassell. That's who we'd be left with. And whoever Tom Thibodeau wants, that's who they'll get. But yeah, so that's why he fell. And then, we'll see what happens. I'd like to get the Kings 12th pick to hang on front, because that's how we would get another one of those guys. We get a Precious or Sadiq Bey or Patrick Williams. They'd all be there for us to get if we got that 12th pick, because 12th pick is the Kings. I feel sorry for any player that goes to the Kings. Anyway, yeah, Tyler Bay is a keeper. I like him at 27 if Desmond Bane is not there, and if they're not going to choose Malachi Flynn. But I just want y'all to remember, rookies ain't going to play a lot. And there's no point guard starting for Tommy Thibodeau. That's a rookie. That's 19 years old. That's not going to happen. Okay? Peace. Shalom.